Hi, guys. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome back to another Queen Beaters Beading with Friends. Uh, it's every Friday at 4 p.m. So if this is your first time joining us, make sure to subscribe to our channels and give us a thumbs up and share us out to your friends. Uh, Today, we are going to be making a super fun wire necklace. This is something that I've designed a long time ago, and came across it the other day, and I was like, "All right, I need to teach this to my girls." So we're gonna work on that. Um, Not a whole lot going on since we're back from Bead Fest, but Bead Fest was a blast. I'll be doing a haul video here soon for my channel, for my YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out. And other than that, give us a share. Don't forget. Okay, guys. So Amber is on vacation. So as you can see, you're just getting me today. She is on a 2-week vacation, and I'm so happy for her. She and her family very much deserve that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, guys. Just say hi as you're coming in, or if you're watching the replay, make sure to leave us a comment. I'm going to turn the camera around. It'll be just for a moment. I'm going to remove. Okay, so this is the piece that I'm talking about today. This is made with Golem beads. This is a company that Jesse James has worked with numerous times, but these beads are no longer available, as far as I know, in their stores. So we're going to make it with a strand of beads that you can get. You can make this with any kind of beads that you have on hand. I like these, the flatness of them and the flatness of these, the cabochons and stuff. I just like the way that looks. But you could also put in rondelles. You could also put in check flowers, check leaves, check hearts. You could do anything you wanted. So we're going to be using this turquoise strand here from Jesse James Beads. And you're also going to need some 18 gauge wire, some 20 gauge wire, and some fairy silk or sari silk, a clasp, some ends for some crimp ends for your sari silk. So I have some Swarovski crystals that I've put on here. There's spacers, there's rondelles in here. Again, that's your choice, but we're just going to be putting one here, one there, and then on the middle, I put like 3. Now, keep in mind, these can slide around on here. You can set them wherever you want. They'll move as you're wearing the piece, which I think that's very interesting when that does that. So, let me go ahead and I'm going to share this out on Facebook. Just give me one moment, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So I hope everyone is doing well today. So nice to see you. Come in and say hello. Go to my channel here. Yeah, we just had a incident. We've been having flooding here, which I'm sure I'm not the only one that has been having flooding, and it has been wires down, different things like that. We're getting a lot of stuff from that storm that came through in the south there. So I'm going to put this up in our Queen Beaters group as well. So make sure, if you haven't joined our Queen Beaters group, you do so. All right. So there we go. All shared out now. Okay. So guys, let's get back to business here. I'm going to grab my little crimps I have here while I'm thinking about it. So we're going to need these crimps, these ribbon crimps for the end. You can also just tie your sari silk or your fairy silk to your clasp. That's something that you could definitely do. So I'm just going to use some of these for the ends. Those work really well for that. Hi, Zach. Yeah, Amber's on vacation. She's feeling good. So, yeah, we're just kind of, I had Bead Fest last week and she was on vacation and she's still on vacation. So, I am coming on today by myself. So, what I had said at the beginning, we're going to go ahead and make this wire swirl necklace with fairy silk or sari silk on the back. We're going to use this strand here. This is a turquoise colored magnesite strand from Jesse James Beads. We're going to use some Swarovskis. We're going to need jump rings, a clasp, some sari silk, things like that. So now that we have all that out of the way, I'm going to set my sari silk off the mat, because the first thing we're going to do here, and all my other materials, because I want to have room, because when I'm working with longer wire, it tends to bang into the camera. So you can see the camera's higher this time. I don't know if it's going to be enough. We'll just have to see how it goes. But we're going to start by cutting ourselves a 20-inch piece of 18 gauge wire. And I like to make the loops on the end a little bigger, because I'm going to put my sari silk through the ends of the loops here. And then we're going to wire wrap them on. So that is why we're going to use a bell making plier. And this is, I'm just going to use the smallest end of the bell making pliers. Hi, Melanie. Hi, everybody. And we're just going to do a wrap loop on the end. This is extra long. We're probably not going to need all of this 20 inches, but we are going to just go ahead and bend our wire. And we're going to put in our bell making pliers. And we're going to go up and over. And then rotate your pliers. And then we're just going to grab that with our chain nose pliers, and then we're going to wrap that around. Okay, so we're just going to do that a couple times, because we're going to have to wrap our other wire on here in just a minute, in just a little bit. So we're going to cut that. Of course, we're going to want to push our ends in to keep everything nice and neat. Thanks, Zach. Thank you, guys. You're so sweet. And just give that a little squeeze just to kind of get it to lay down. Now, keep in mind, 18 gauge is a little harder to work with than our typical 20 or 22 gauge. So give yourself grace. If you don't work with wire a lot, give yourself some grace with the 18 gauge. Now I'm going to take, after we've made our loop, I'm going to take my wire straighteners and just get this nice and smooth, so all my beads go through it without any issues. So I'm just running that along my wire. Okay, so then we're going to just start threading on our beads. So we're going to start on this side, and I'm just going to thread these on. Simple. We're going to thread these on, so when we do our loop on the other side, we're going to leave it kind of loose in between the beads, because we want to be able to fill that in with our wire and our swirls that we're going to make, our other wire. This is just a gorgeous strand. I just love it. But this is from one of the Magical Mystery Bead boxes. If you guys haven't checked that out, definitely do that. And we're just putting these on simply. All right. That one's a little tough, but it will go on. And that's why you want to make sure you're straightening your wire out well before you start. Okay, and again, we're just beading, putting these beads onto this wire quickly. And this one's next. And as I said at the beginning, you can use whatever bead you have. I prefer like a larger bead for the center. I like the flatness of the beads that are in the circle of wire too. Hi, Wendy. Welcome in, honey. So once we get those on, I can get this one to go through. Uh-oh, give me any trouble. Oh, it'll go that way. There we go. We got it. So now that all of our beads are on our 18 gauge wire with our loop on the end, we're going to leave ourselves space between the beads. So when we make our loop, we're making this, we want to make sure this is loose so we can fill in with our wire. So I'm just going to kind of spread them out a little bit, see kind of where I want to go, because I'm going to need some wire to do my wrap loop too. So I think I'm going to give myself about 2 inches on this side and 2 inches on that side. I think that should be good. So we're going to do another loop on this side. And you're going to grab your wire. My mat keeps sliding. Should use my bead board. And we're just going to bend that. And we're going to take our bell making pliers and put those into underneath our bend there. You can see that. And we're going to go up and over. Oh, here comes my other wire cut coming into the picture. Up and over, rotate your pliers. And then let me lay this way so you can see it. What am I going to do about this mat here? Let's see. There we go. And we have the same size loop as we have on the other side because, like I said, I want to make this large enough of the loop so we can slide our starry silk into it. So we're just going to give this a wrap then. And just a few wraps around. I think I did 2 or 3 on this side, 3. So let's do one more so we match. All right. So we're going to have, after we get this cut, we are going to cut, after we make our loose beaded piece on our 18 gauge wire, we're going to cut 3 strands 30 inches long of 20 gauge wire. Yes, I know. That's a lot of wire. And this is probably going to be banging and grabbing things and the whole time we're doing this. But I really want to just try to show you guys this. So I've cut these 20 gauge. You could also do 22 if you feel like your fingers would take better to that. And we're going to start by taking the end of that. Let me get this one out of the way. Of each one. And we're going to lay it across the end of one of our ends, lay it straight across. That's going to give us a little something to hang on to when we're wrapping our pieces on. So we're going to wrap this around 2 or 3 times and make sure it's nice and snug because that's what's going to give you the ability to wrap without everything sliding. Okay. So I usually will take that end and give it a wrap around as well. And that gives me nice security. So we have one. Okay. One on there. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and get our second one that's 30 inches long. And we are, Carolyn, you're watching me on the TV. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lay our wire across. We're going to give this a few wraps on. And now we have 2 of our wires on. So we have to be able to get these on and attached so we're able to use them to fill in. Okay, so there's our second one. I'm going to wrap this end up here. And now we have 2 coming down. And you can see they're spaced apart. And that's what we want. Because we want to be able to have space between our wires as we're taking them across the beads. Okay. And then we're going to do one more. Because I want to have one that I can take across the top as well. And I'm going to take that, flip it over. Because I want this one to be more on top. Again, very fiddly, but we'll get there. And I'm going to lay this here, just like we did before, and I'm going to wrap it the other way because I'm kind of fiddly with doing this with my left hand, so bear with me. But I want this to end up on top of the 18 gauge wire. You read, you understand what I'm saying there, guys? So I'm going to take my pliers here, my tweezer pliers, and I'm going to push all this up because I want things to be nice and snug and attached. Okay? We'll do one more time with the end. All right. So now I'm just going to leave these ends on, and I didn't do my manicure today because I figured I would destroy my nails doing this, and that's exactly what's happening. So I have very thin nails, so they'll just rip and tear. So if you're wondering why it looks so janky. So what we're going to do then, guys, we have our one up on top. Whoops. Let's pull that back up there. Get him a little tighter. So once we have the one up on top, we've gotten all of our wires attached. And again, I like to take my, as I'm going, now don't do this too much or you'll work hard in your wire and it won't work very well for you. It'll start getting brittle. Okay. And I'm just going to straighten these, the tops of these, because I was fiddling with those. I'll do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start moving the beads up that we want to wrap in each section. So you see how in this section I have 2 beads in a spacer, and then I threaded on a Swarovski crystal. I know words. So that's what we're going to do on this one. I'm going to take these 2 bottom ones. I am going to thread on one of my Swarovskis. This is a blue zircon color. Try not to make too much of a mess. And actually, I'm going to put that on my top, I think. So we'll put that one there. I'm threading this onto our top wire. All right. So we can go ahead and do our top wire first. So as we're doing this, we're going to take our thumb and arch it over top of our beads, just like so, giving enough room for our crystal to be in there, for it to move around. But we want our beads pushed clear up to the end here because that's going to keep them nice and sturdy for us, okay? And then we're going to wrap that wire around the base wire that we put our beads on. We'll do a couple times. And once we start getting further on this, it'll be a little easier to manage the wires because they'll shorten up. But I always like to leave enough. So I'm going to take this next wire that's underneath here. And I want to do an arch on that. And you just keep warming it and running it in the shape that you want. So I'm kind of curving it as I'm going here, guys. And I'm going to give that a nice wrap onto our base wire. And your wires move up and down. They don't stay in one side necessarily. So now we're going to do the same thing with the next wire because I want to get a double look here. And remember, it's wire, guys. You can fuss with it afterward and widen it out and do whatever you need to do. But we're going to do the same thing here so you can see how that's looking. And I'm going to leave space because I want this to kind of give us like an open air type of feeling with our wire. Let me get this one up and out of the way. And then I'm going to push this up. Keep your tools handy with this one, guys. We're going to tighten that up. Push everything up where we want it. And then we're going to bring our other wire in, keeping it in the position that we wanted. I'm going to straighten this a little bit. It's imperative with this project to keep your wire straightener handy. Okay. And we're just going to shape that up just like so. Okay. And then give it a wrap. It's a lot of wire to be fiddling with, but it's worth it in the end. It really gives you a really nice look. Okay. So there we go. Now we're going to push up a few more beads. Let me just make sure this heart's in the front of that wire. That's how I wanted it. go. Okay, so now, whoops, don't do that. So now what we're going to do, get that back where it needs to be. I get a little aggressive with wire sometimes. So you see me like yanking it and doing all kinds of stuff to it that I shouldn't be. Okay, so now that we have our one set done here, we're going to move some more beads up. And we're going to do the same thing. You can do one, you can do two, however many you want. Okay. And if we get to the end and we have a lot of space left, we can always do our end over again if we need to. I did not get these from the Bead Fest sack. These are from Jesse James Beads. But believe me, I'm going to be doing a haul on my channel here soon, and you'll get to see everything I did get from Bead Fest. Kind of went a little crazy, so as expected, I suppose. So, and we're going to make our loop again here, and I put a crystal on, and I don't want this to look too bendy, so I want to make sure I keep that fluidity, a nice curve to it. Again, doing the same thing. We're just arching our wires. We're attaching one wire at a time. Makes it a lot easier. And I like to have mine a little bit of a U shape when I'm all done. You can do that as you're working, but it'll also straighten out, or it'll also do that afterward, excuse me. So now we have this up here. We're going to run this wire with an arch over top, and we're going to wrap that around twice. This mat and I are going to just have issues here, guys. Oy, oy. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with the next one, and we're going to leave that space between so it's nice and open air, and it doesn't have to look exactly like the first one did. You want it to be a little different, so we're going to put a little more of an arch there, okay, and wrap it. I think what I'm going to do is actually move this mat because I'm about over it. Okay. So we're going to give ourselves another wrap there. Bring that up. And then we have our other wire. We're going to go, or our next set of beads, I mean. Now I want to make sure I'm not going to run out of space here as I'm going. Just double checking this, guys. Okay, we're good. I think. If not, we can always add more wire. So let's do this curve under this one. And then we're going to put a Swarovski on again. So you see how that's coming along, guys. It's giving you that open air effect, basically. Okay. Gives you a real pretty, elegant look. And I'm just threading on another Swarovski up here in case you're wondering what I'm doing off camera. And we're going to do an arch here. Give it a wrap. And then we're going to take this wire. I'm going to actually bring that in behind. Just like so. Actually, I don't like that. So let's put this underneath. You just have to kind of gauge as you go, guys, where your wires are going to lay the nicest for you. Okay. We'll go up there. All right. But as you're going, remember, wire is so pliable, and you can do, reshape it if it gets bent as you're working with it. It really makes a difference that you can do that, especially in this project. So, see here. All right. So now we have those 3 sections done. Now we're going to move into our main focal. Now for our main focal, I want to do some multiples of my Swarovskis. I have, let's see, I'd like to put different sizes, and I don't think I had, oh, here it is. Here's some tinier ones. So in the middle part, or some bigger ones. So in the middle part, I want to feature some bigger Swarovskis for my focal. So I'm going to use both the smaller and the bigger to give it interest. And again, I'm just straightening these wires with my wire straightener. I remember when I did this project, it took me a while to get it all figured out, and when I was done, and I was done messing with all these wires, I was like, thank you, Lord, because it was a lot. But it's a fun project, and it really gives an impact, you know. You can switch to YouTube so I can see it better too. Oh, good. Nice to have everyone. Thank you for coming in and checking us out. So here's our larger. So I put these out up here. Yeah. Let's put a smaller one. I'm going to put a larger one. And then another smaller one. And a smaller one. I know it's hard to see me putting the beads on, but that's just because the wire is so long. So I want my Swarovskis to be front and center here, as usual. And I'm just going to give this first wire that has the crystals on. I'm going to wrap that first so our crystals don't go everywhere. Okay. And then that's going to go that way. And then on the second one, I'm just going to do the wire, and I'm going to make a bigger loop because I want that to be the main focal, of course, because that's our center. Okay. Any questions, guys? Feel free to ask. If you're watching the replay, be sure to ask us in the comments. Okay. And then I'm going to put some more crystals on here on the bottom of this. So I'm going to do the same pattern. I'm going to do the small, the large, and the small. And I know usually my camera is closer, guys, but with all this wire, it's not really a possibility. So unfortunately, but hopefully you're being able to make out what's happening here. So I'm going to just do this a little larger as well. That almost looks like an eye, doesn't it? So I'm going to wrap this, and then I'm going to bring this up so I can show you guys exactly where we are. Okay. So far, this is what we have. Okay. Again, let me know if you have any questions. And this will lay flat against your skin, so you won't have to worry about these flipping and flopping because these flat beads, because they'll be against your skin. Okay. So then we're going to move our next set over. And let's do crystal on the top. And then make our loop. A nice little arch there. Make sure everything's nice and snug. Whoop, we need that other bead in there. All right, we're going to give that a wrap. And then we're going to work our wire to get it to arch along the bottom. And give that a wrap. Okay. And again, I'm just going to take my tweezer pliers in because I want everything to be nice and tight on this wire. And it is. Nice and snug. And I'm going to bring in my wire straighteners here. Get my Swarovski up where I want it. So I can make a pretty arch. So I want those kinks out of that. So I'm going to use my thumb again. And give us another arch above our Swarovski there. And I'm going to drop that wire down in front so I can wrap it in front of it. Okay. And I don't want that large of an arch. So I need to go back and readjust and smooth that out. I don't want a kink in it, is what I'm trying to say, guys. I know that doesn't make sense, but I don't want a kink in my wire. I want it to be nice and arched and natural looking. Okay. So there we go. And we're going to wrap that one. We're working our way up. We're almost done. We only have 2 more sections. I think we'll be fine for space. So again, I want to tidy these up a little bit right at the base here where I'm bending them. Okay. And we're going to push down our next 2 beads. And we're going to put a Swarovski on the inside of the bottom arch, I guess we'll call them, huh? And again, I'm putting a Swarovski on the wire, and I'm going to move those down. Give myself a nice arch, just warming that wire and shaping it up into the area that I want it, and then give it a wrap. Same thing on the top. And you can see once you get the hang of it, guys, it can go relatively fast. And the same thing on the bottom. Arching that over. And I'm bringing it out in front of the wraps that I did. So I want to push this wire back and pull this wire back. So this one is out in front. Okay. And then I'm going to give that a wrap. Okay. And then we have our last one. Now, we might be okay. We might be able to get by with just using the 20 inches there. So once we get to the end, I'll show you what you can do. So I used 20, in case you missed it, guys, I used 20 inches of 18 gauge wire for the core wire. Terry, hi, honey. What's the matter? I'm so late. That's okay. That's why God created replays, my friend. So check it out. But we are doing a wire loop with swirls necklace and Swarovskis. So we're going to do this top wire the same way, guys. And I'm going to push our beads down. I want to make sure that my Swarovski is where I want it. Let's see what my arch is. Let's do that. All right. And then we're going to do the bottom one. Aw, well, that's okay, Terry. No problem. No problem, honey. I know with the storms and everything, a lot of folks have been dealing with all kinds of problems. We had a wire that just was down from our house, but luckily it was just for the phone, and we don't have a house phone, so it didn't affect us, thank goodness. Because last time we had that happen on the other side of our house, it took out all of our power, everything. So that is that. So we got the traffic through, and we have a creek that runs behind our house, and it is full, guys. I can tell you that. So I'm just doing my last arch here, and I'm just going to give that a wrap. Okay. I think we're going to be good because we're going to finish off by wrapping our wires around the top. So we can wrap our wire up. And then I'm just going to bring this in behind like so. And I'm going to give that a couple wraps around the base here. And we're just securing our wires at this point, guys. Okay. And then I think I'll bring that one behind. You just have to kind of work it and see where your wires want to lay, just to kind of fill in that space at the end. Okay. So I'm going to trim that one. I got it up to the top. So I'm going to trim that one. All right. And then push that end down. Okay. Then we'll wrap this one here. Trim it. So we used every bit of 30 inches except for maybe, let me measure this. And like I said, this is 10 inches. So you could have maybe gotten away with 20, but I highly recommend, especially if it's your first time doing it, to go with the 30 inches for each one of your 20 gauge wires. Okay. And I'm just straightening my wires, kind of getting everything where I want it. And like I said, I want this to be arched a little bit because I like the look of that better. And let me go up here and trim off our other wires. And I'm just going to wrap these around to give myself a little more bulk on the end, only because we have some bulk on this end. And I kind of want it to be nice and balanced. Okay. So let's wrap this one around. And it gives you more of a messy look, but I am fine with that. Okay. I think that one's good. I don't think I need to do anything with that. So we're just going to trim that one. And trim these two. Get my crystals out of the way. And then I'm just going to push those down so we have it nice and neat. And it's not going to get a hold of anybody's skin or mess anything up. All right, so now here's our piece. And you can fiddle with that with your loops, with the way things lay, things like that, once you get it all put together. But that is the basic. And I think that came out super cool. That's why I love this design, because you only use a few beads and it really elevates the beads. I am doing good, Terry. I had a wonderful weekend at Bead Fest, and with my friend Gloria and my husband's cousin Tammy. So this piece I have here is 36 inches, guys. It's probably, again, overkill. This is sari silk we're going to put on this. And I'm just going to trim it in half. Okay. And you can make it however long you want. I'm going to get some of my ends out here. Let's see. I'll remove these middle ones. First we're going to do is we're going to hook. This is for the other end. We're going to hook our sari silk. Get that stuff out of the way. In through. I'm going to cut the end neater on that. In through our loop that we created. That's why we made such big loops. So we can push this through and then wire wrap it on. Oh, look, fiber. You're shocked. I know. I never do that. It's my favorite. Everybody knows I'm a fiber artist. And I just push that through our loop. And I'm going to bend it up, just leaving a little bit of a tail there. Give myself a little bit more. And it depends on how you like the look. If you want it wire wrapped, you can wire wrap it. If you want to knot it, you can knot it. I like both, but I'm going to show you quick how to wire wrap the ends. I'm just going to use a leftover piece of my 20 gauge here. And I have this bent. And I'm going to pinch it in the area I think I want my wrap to be. So you can see my loops here. It's hard to see, I know. But I'm going to pinch it right there. And I'm going to do the same thing we did with our other wire wrapping. Oh, thank you, Carrie. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And we're going to lay this across and bring it up and around. See, you have to have that end there, guys, when you're wire wrapping. That was something when I first started that I couldn't get the hang of, that I couldn't just put it on and just start. This is like a handle. This allows you to get things nice and snug and look the way you want them. And I like to use this shorter strand that we put across as like my tightener. because basically it's snug and you can wrap that back a couple times and it really makes things nice and tight for you. So I'm just going to do 3 wraps. I think that'll be plenty. And then we can trim our wire. So you can see that looks really cute. It looks really cute with the wire. You could also put your crimp ends on that end and just hook them into your loop if you like the look of that better. I'm just going to trim our wires. Okay. And push the ends in. I know that's the boring part, but we have to do it. We have to do it. We don't want anybody getting stabbed. All right. So now we have that end on. We're going to do the same thing over here. Take another extra piece of my 20 gauge. This one looks a little bit... I just noticed these things as I'm working here, guys. But I want to take my pliers in here and kind of go... And you can do that as well when you're done, just to kind of smooth out your little arches. If you see they have too much of a bend in them here or there, you can just stick that in and just rock it over that area, squeeze it and rock it, and it fixes it for you. Okay, so we're going to take the other side and do the exact same thing. We're going to move this way. So we're going to put the sari silk through the loop, bend it in half, and then take the end of our wire. We're going to pinch our sari silk above our loop where we want our wire to lay. And hold on one second, guys. To take care of something there. And we're going to lay it across just like so. And give it a wrap around. This is the hard part. I know it's hard to see because my fingers are so much in the way trying to get this nice and snug. But that's where we are right now. And we're going to take that M wire and I'm going to anchor that. Okay. And then give us another wrap around with this one. Okay. And bring that one to the back so we can trim those on the back now. And we're going to flatten those out. Okay. So I'm going to push all this up out of the way. I'm going to get my ends. I want to do a measurement because I want to see how long I want my piece to be. So I'm going to measure my necklace in this shape. So basically, if you have a ruler, you're going to want to lay it from this tip to this tip, because that's going to give you your length in the center. Okay, I have a ruler down on my desk here. I'm going to just put that on to give me an idea. And it's showing about 9 inches in between this area. If you want it straight, then you'll have to measure that area. Okay, is that right? Or do I have this back? Somebody tell me, please. Oh, that seems correct. Who knows? You could do it either way, guys. So I'm like, wait a minute, you're messing with me. So we're just going to take our little crimpy ends here. So I know I have 9 inches, and then I have left here 15 inches of sari silk. So 15 and 9. Somebody do the math for me. So I don't know where my phone got up to. There it is. I did work at a bank at one point, so 15 plus 9, 24 inches. So that should be good, because by the time we put our ends on, that'll be a nice length. Actually, here I go again. Mrs. Doubtfire here, always changing my ways. All right, so I'm going to actually take 5 inches off because I want this to be snug. So I'm going to take 5 inches off each side. For me, 20 inches is snug around my neck. So I want it to be a higher up necklace, if you know what I mean. So let's do 20 inches. We're going to do 10 inches on each side. Okay. And then we're going to put our little crimps on the ends. And I just cut the ends straight, just like so. And just put my crimp over top. I was going to ask about that. I swear you had said you were going back to work. Yeah, I was, but the hours, there was a misunderstanding with the hours and stuff, and I just had to just decline. I have to have a certain amount of hours for with my health. I can't do a whole bunch of hours, so it just didn't work out, unfortunately. I was really excited about it, but it didn't work out. So hopefully I'm looking for something else. God will bring me to what I'm meant to be with. So I'm just putting my sari silk in the center there, and I have my chain nose pliers holding my crimp. Thank you, Terry. I hope so too. I have some things out and about cooking, basically, some opportunities. So maybe sooner than later. So we're going to put the other end over top of the sari silk, but thank you for asking. I know it just kind of reappeared. It's like, oh, I'm going to be gone. No, you're not. So let's put that end on just like so. Give it a squeeze. And then we're going to squeeze across the whole thing. Get that nice and tight on there. So there's our ends. So now all we have to do is grab our jump rings and put our clasp on. Now, guys, you could leave the full length of the sari silk on and just tie it behind your neck to wear it. I have done that with multiple necklaces. I really like the look of it. And then it's adjustable. But this is a more clean look. If you have clients that prefer, a more clean look, then this is probably what you want to do. So I'm just going to take an oval jump ring here and open it up. Back and forth. I'm going to take my bar, because I want my bar on the right side. I always put the working end on the right side. That's just me, but preference. And then if you want to add a dangle to the necklace or something, you put it on the side. If you're using a bar clasp, then you'll put it on the side of the loop. And that way it's not getting in the way as much. You will find a good employment fit for you soon. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Lori. I got to see Miss Lori at Bead Fest. That was so exciting. And it was right when we were getting to leave, too. We were back to our check glass booth that we love so much. And she happened to be there, and it was just like perfect luck. We got to get a picture together. So that was really fun. I didn't even get to ask you, Lori. You live in Pennsylvania or nearby? If you don't mind answering that. So here we go, guys. This is our project for today. Get the bar clasp to go through. So this is our swirl necklace with wire. Really fun piece. Let me bring this down just a smidge so you guys can see it better. There you go. Did I hear you say you were going to do a Bead Fest haul? Yes, I am, dear. It's going to go up on my YouTube channel probably this weekend. Haven't done it yet. I've just been recovering, basically. So, yeah, I'm going to do a Bead Fest haul. And it'll be up on my YouTube channel. So make sure you go over there, guys, and check that out. And then I just put up a really cool video on using the Potomac bead box. So go ahead over and check those out. Some really cool earrings. But this is our finished piece. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I live in New Jersey, South Jersey by the Delaware Memorial Bridge. Okay, I can only imagine how much filtering you had to do with shopping. I always want all the things. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. But we did it. And guys, I just realized I never turned my lights down. So that's probably why it was more difficult to see. But I'm lost without Amber here. There you go. Maybe that'll help you see the piece a little better. Sorry that was so dark. But there you go. So let me put them back up here and we'll get the camera turned around. All right. Here I am. I'm going to put my camera out of my face. So it was super fun, guys, hanging out with you today. Yes, Amber is doing really great. She is on vacation, so she's having a really good time. So we both took some time off. I did for Bead Fest, and she did for a vacation down south with her folks and her family. And it's so well deserved. She's been through so much. The whole family has been, and I'm just so glad they're getting this opportunity to spend this time together and have enjoyment. They deserve it. Oh, and you can see, let me go this. Nope, other way. I always do it backwards. Miss Esme is back there sleeping. Excuse my room. It's in a cluttered state right now, but that's my studio buddy. Just like Kaylee used to be. She was my studio buddy, so it's nice to have again. Lori, I loved running into you too. That was perfect. Perfect. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Wee BB puppy. I know. She's not so wee. She's almost as tall as her sister now. And last time we were to the vet, that was like last week, she was 40 pounds. And my full-grown adult female that I have, which is the normal size for a female, she's 55 pounds. And she's Esme's almost as tall as Arwen is now. So crazy. I know. I'm excited to show you guys. There's so much. So it's going to be a little long, but we'll get that haul up here soon. So I enjoyed hanging out with you guys as always. She will always be the baby, Terry says. You guys, we need to just do a Zoom call, all of us, and just have a good old time, don't we? Thank you guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you next week. See ya. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.